Hey guys, what's up? This is Mel, and I'm here to talk about Supernatural, episode 1121, titled All in the Family, which premiered Wednesday, May 11, 2016 on the CW. Guys, so sorry I'm late, but here I am. Let's start the 10-minute clock, and let's begin. So something new that we learned in this episode. So basically, we see Chuck bringing back Kevin the ghost to vouch for him being God to Sam and Dean, since they don't believe that he's God. And it's the moment when Chuck sends Kevin's spirit to heaven, since he's been in the veil this whole time. The moment he does that, that is the moment that Sam and Dean really believe that Chuck is actually God. And then after that, we see them briefly talk things out and wonder where Chuck has been, why he hasn't done anything as God, and Sam and Dean really safely giving their opinions on God's absence, and Chuck trying to explain himself to them, so we get a bit of that. We also see Sam and Dean meeting with Metatron, as his request, where he reveals to the brothers that Chuck plans on sacrificing himself to Amara instead of defeating her and locking her away. Apparently, when Dean goes to confront Chuck about it, Chuck wants to make a deal with Amara, saying that she can lock him up for however long, kind of like, I did this to you, you can do this to me, and then we're even type thing. But Dean is trying to talk him out of it. It doesn't really look like Chuck is changing his mind on things. So there's that. Also, we get the introduction of a new prophet named Donatello, and he came to be a prophet when he became the sole survivor of a town wipeout due to Amara's Fog of Darkness attack. He saw everyone die, all the black veins consuming their skins, and just before the fog reached him, he was hit with the lightning, similar to how Kevin became a prophet, and he now has this connection with both God and Amara, from the sounds of it. So he is taken back to the bunker by Sam and Dean to keep him safe. Meanwhile, Dean is getting these visions from Amara about Lucifer, who is still possessing Castiel, being tortured and saying that he doesn't really have much longer. And Dean wants to save Lucifer, because if Lucifer dies in Castiel's body, then he's afraid that he's going to lose his dear friend because of it. So, with that said, they have Donatello. They have also Metatron, who's joined their group, all teaming up to rescue Lucifer. So basically, Sam, Metatron, and Donatello go to get Lucifer, while Dean is distracting Amara at another location. Unfortunately, once Metatron uses all of his knowledge given from God, since he is the scribe of God, he uses a spell to get Lucifer off of his restraints, but Lucifer can't teleport as an angel, because, as he calls it, he's been grounded. So Metatron stays behind as Sam and Donatello get Lucifer out of there, but Metatron, he tries to defeat Amara by using one of the spells he knows as the scribe, but instead it just pisses her off and she kills him before going after Sam, Donatello, and Lucifer. Before she can kill them, though, God intervenes and he teleports the Impala and the three of them back to the bunker's basement. So there's that. Meanwhile, before Amara did that, when she was talking with Dean, she tried to make a deal with him. She wanted him to give up his humanity and become one with her. And not the fun way either. She was basically proposing for him to basically give up existing and basically die as she consumes him, pretty much in the same way she consumes all the souls she eats. So there is that. And she also realizes that Dean betrayed her because he's been in God's presence, which is why she can't access his mind anymore like she used to through the connection between them. So there is that. So what was the most shocking moment of the episode for me? It definitely has to be that it was God's plan was to strike a deal with Amara, which basically has him surrendering to her. I was not expecting that at all. Yeah, Metatron made a few hints to it in the previous episode about what Chuck was writing about in regards to his autobiography. But in this episode, it still surprised me that Chuck wanted to still go through with that plan after revealing himself to Sam and Dean and saying that he wanted to be on their side. It really surprised me for sure. Hope he doesn't go through with it. So, moving on, top 3 favorite moments. First one has to be Kevin's return. I mean, when he just popped out behind Chuck, that was just like, I squealed in excitement. I miss Kevin so much. I wish he wasn't killed off. I wish that he was in the episode longer, but the fact that we even got a bit of him, and then the heart-to-heart he had with Sam and Dean, and about their situation, about him always trusting them, and then they should trust in Chuck, and just like that moment was just fantastic. I love it. But now I'm worried that if Kevin is now in heaven, does that mean we're not going to see him anymore? Or is he up in heaven and meeting everybody at the Roadhouse with Bobby and Ash and Ellen and Joe and all that? I really want to see all of them just hanging out in the Heavens version of the Roadhouse, like we got to see back in episode 516 when they first went up into heaven. So there's that. Another favorite for me has to be the talk between Sam, Dean, and Chuck. When the brothers were learning from Chuck what it is he's been doing all these years when he's been MIA, and then Dean pretty much trying to tell him how he felt about his abandonment without angering him to the point that he might be smited or killed or turned into a toad or something. But I like the restraint Dean had in phrasing his concerns or his thoughts about the whole situation, because it is God. He knows that he can't really piss this man off. Unlike if it's anyone else, Dean will just tell it like it is, bluntly, like he always does. But I really like also that Dean didn't, aside from the restraint and keeping calm when he told his confession, the fact that he told Chuck about his thoughts on him abandoning everyone. And I really like that Dean actually went there. I really like that he brought that up. He didn't shy away from that conversation. And the fact that you could tell that Dean was really struggling with keeping his emotions, because it hit really close to home with him. He's been through so much crap because of the fact that Chuck took a back seat in everything. He had to deal with going to hell. He had to deal with it being the bringer of the apocalypse, or being part of the person who started the apocalypse, about the way he grew up, about his mom being taken, about the darkness coming after him, about the mark of Cain, about the demons, everything that Dean has gone through. The fact that he had to go through because Chuck went to take a holiday, it really messed with him. And the fact that Dean actually, for a guy who doesn't want to talk about really deep emotional stuff like that, because it's too close to the heart, I guess you could say, the fact that he did in this situation, I really like that. And I would definitely watch it over and over again. And it was just great to see that raw emotion in that moment. I love it, for sure. Last favorite moment I have to say is the reunion between God and Lucifer. I know it's weird, but essentially they haven't seen each other since God locked Lucifer away in the cage. Or even before that, because I think it was Michael who did that. So it was interesting to see that brief reunion, and it was kind of weird to see it happening through Castiel, because it's Castiel, so it's like I still see his face even though it's Lucifer that's underneath it. So it's like it was weird, but I really like that we got to see that reunion. I hope we see how exactly they interact with each other, because Lucifer kind of promised he would be civil during this whole defeat Amara crusade that they're going for. So it'll be interesting to see just how they tried to move around each other without causing another apocalyptic fight towards them. So top 3 peeved moments. First one, the fact that Kevin's presence wasn't longer than it was. I wish he was in it longer, for sure, but it can't be helped. It's better in for a brief moment than not at all, I guess. Last peeved moment as well is the fact that I thought, for some reason, I don't know why I thought it, but when Chuck heals Lucifer, I really thought that once that bright light faded over Lucifer, I thought we'd get Castiel in control of his vessel again, and then beside him would stand the Lucifer in his original vessel. For some reason, I thought that's what we would get after that bright light disappeared after Castiel's vessel was healed. But we didn't get that. So once again, we still don't have Castiel as Castiel yet. So we have to wait. But moving on, what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode? There's the timer. I'm definitely going to remember all the reunions we got. Kevin, Chuck with the Winchesters, Lucifer and Chuck, Lucifer and the Winchesters, I guess you could say. Yeah, definitely a bunch of them for sure. I definitely like that. But quickly, random questions. First one, did Chuck do something to protect Dean from Amara, or was it just Dean being in Chuck's presence that gave him that protection where Amara couldn't get into his head? Or get into his head like she used to in regards to feeling his emotions and all that. It'd be interesting. I wonder if Dean actually knew before going to see Amara if he had that type of protection, or if he was just going in to do a distraction, or if he actually asked Chuck to do something of that sort. But hopefully we'll find out. Last question. If Chuck were to die, which I hope not, what would that mean for the world without God existing? I guess that's one of those questions we'll have to find out for, but it's kind of like last season where they killed death. What is a world without actual death? And apparently it's a world that keeps on going, so there's that. So moving on to predictions very quickly. Based off the promo for 11/22, it looks like Chuck needs the angels and the demons to work together to take out Amara, and it looks like we'll see Crowley and Rowena again. Based off the synopsis, though, it basically says it's the final countdown. It also says that Sam and Dean face their biggest challenge yet, and apparently Rowena makes her move. Against who and what that move is, we'll have to find out about that. But overall predictions, I think someone will either die, they are restrained, or they are taken in this showdown that happens in this episode, which is not expected, which is going to force everybody to go to plan B, if they do have a plan B, and it's going to be seen in the finale episode. Predictions, I am hoping we see Dean break his connection to Amara somehow, and if it's not broken, then I predict that her defeat will affect Dean as well because of the fact they're still connected. Also, I hope we get to see Castiel being Castiel again, no more Lucifer possessing him. So there's that. Also, I really hope that the empty is brought up again, or the fact that Death the Horseman was killed by Dean in episode 10/23, last year's finale. But there has to be some reference to that, because we only heard little references here and there whenever Billy the Reaper showed up. So hopefully, at least it has to be brought up by Chuck. He has to know that they managed to kill the Horseman of Death. So I really hope that. Also, Amara is either going to be defeated in this season finale, 11/23, or she's going to be the major arc enemy in season 12, which, as a biblical evil, she should be an enemy that spans over 2 seasons, like the issue with Lucifer was, or like Azazel was. And even though I want her gone, though, it just makes more sense. As a biblical evil, she should span over at least 2 seasons. But I really want her gone. So there's that. Also, on our behind the scenes news, I guess you could say, it was announced that for season 12, Jeremy Carver is going to be stepping down as showrunner for Supernatural, and his replacements will be Robert Singer and Andrew Dabb, and they will both go as co-showrunners for season 12. So it'll be interesting to see what that means, or how everything's going to unfold from a different leadership role, I guess you can say. But that's about it. So what did you guys think of the episode? What'd you like? What do you think is going to happen next? What are your own theories about this whole big final showdown thing against Amara? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it, as well as your own thoughts, theories, predictions about the final 2 episodes of this season. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want a more detailed recap of the episode, a play-by-play, if you will, of the first time I saw the episode, check out my live journal entry. The link for that will be down below in the description box. Included is my in-the-moment thoughts about what happened, as well as some quotes that I jotted down while watching the episode. And if you also want, check out my Tumblr page for any promos, web clips, quotes, GIFs, synopses, anything supernatural related. That I reblog will be found on my Tumblr account. Links for those will be down below. I am behind on updating Tumblr, but I will get to it. So be patient, please. Follow me there if you want to be updated for when I do update. So at least you'll know when I'm back being active on that site. But it should be within the next few weeks for sure. But yeah, so that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. Thanks for just listening to what I have to say. But I hope you tune in next week to hear what I have to say about the next episode. But until then, this is Mel, wishing you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.